Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Bald Explorer Live on Wednesday 16th of May 2018 at 8 o'clock in the UK from a terraced house in Worthing in West Sussex. And with me today we have the wonderful Georgie. Georgie is my daughter.
I am.
You are, and if I remember rightly, you're only 11 years old.
Yes, no, I've not changed in 13 years.
Not changed in all that time. For those of you who don't know what that reference is, we'll come to that in a moment. But we are live on Facebook. If you're watching the YouTube or you've come for the very first time and thinking, hello, is this a live show? No, you're watching the rerun. But if you're watching it live on Facebook, you're very, very welcome. Firstly, I need to just double check that we are getting comments, which we do seem to be getting, which is rather nice. I'm just going to turn the stream onto pause so we don't get confused, but we can see it. So, ladies and gentlemen, out there watching, we've got Claire Leach, we've got Graham Whittington, we've got Danny Harris, good evening, Judith Oakley, Richard Suggett, Paul Hine, Kevin Hall, and many more joining us as we speak. But today, a very special show. We have the lovely Georgie. Hello, Georgie.
Hello.
So, yeah, Georgie, not only being my lovely daughter, but started when I started the Vobes show, or rather, it wasn't the Vobes show then, was it?
What was it then? I can't remember. So long
it was
ago.
the Richard Vobes radio show.
Yes,
do you remember?
yes, I do.
And Georgie was on there with me, and we sort of started this podcast very limply, didn't we?
Yes.
It was.
Once a week, was it?
No, every day.
Every
we started
day.
every day. Yeah, I know. We did it 7 days a week.
Blimey.
And I used to, I mean, you weren't on it all the time
No.
because you had other things in your
school.
life. Yeah. But we did record it in the evenings.
Yes.
When we started out, and we were playing. You were choosing music. Do you remember?
I was choosing the pop charts songs
that you were listening to. Which was great. Kevin Hall says hi, Georgie.
Hello,
so that's very nice.
Hi, Kevin.
And the lovely Julia says good evening, Richard. Good evening, Julie, Georgie, and everyone watching, which is fantastic. I'm so pleased that we have got the comments coming and some emojis as well. Give the lovely Georgie some emojis just to prove that you're actually there, which would be fantastic. Philip Naylor's joined, Terry Wood, many more. So in the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we've got lots of things to discuss. Of course, we've got going to go down into the gallery and see what's going. Oh, there they go.
They're flying in.
They're flying in the emoji. There's a slight delay from when you send the emojis to when we get them in the studio, but lots of love hearts and thumbs ups and all of that, which is fantastic. Philip is waving. He's got a waving emoji there, which is great. So the hits of 2005. Yes, that's right. What was the music that can you remember some of the music you were listening to?
Things like Pink.
Oh yeah. What was one of the Pink songs?
Oh, Like a Pill.
Like a Pill. There you go.
Avril Lavigne. Skater Boy was one of her famous ones.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's funny because when we were driving back from Glastonbury, the lovely Julia and I, we were going through music. She was playing all her music. And I said, oh, what about, and I was trying to think of something to be, you know, relevant. And so I said, what about Avril Lavigne, Skater Boy? And she said, yeah, no, she likes that one as well. So we were playing, I'm just a boy, it's just a girl. No, the other way around. However it goes.
So when you think relevant, you're 2005.
Yeah, well, I haven't really listened to pop music since, which is a bit of a shame. Anyway, before we get into all of that, we need to wet our whistle. Nobody comes on the show and doesn't have some refreshments. So we've been over to the supermarket, who we don't need to name, Morrison's, pardon, who is just across the way from where I am. What was that? Morrison's. And we've been purchasing something. Now, you're a young lady. You currently, at the moment, you're working in a bar.
Yes.
So we thought, what would be relevant that we could try? And you've come up with some things which a lot of people are drinking currently.
Yes. So very popular.
Yes.
Is gin.
Gin. So we've got some London dry gin.
Yes, Morrison's
own version. Morrison's own cheap version. But the reason we got the cheap version is, obviously, the show is on a budget, but we're going to... You can't have gin on its own, can you?
And it was more about the tonic that we wanted to try, which is an elderflower.
We've got
tonic,
elderflower and
fever tree.
Yeah. So is this something you sell?
We do. Yeah, we sell little bottles.
Little bottles of
but we've just got in new gins now and new tonics, including this one.
And I guess it must be coming into elderflower time, is it? I remember there's a period. When is elderflower the time when, you know, elderflowers are doing their thing? Because we're coming into blossom, so people may be picking elderflower fairly soon. Oh, she got the sack for being bad spelling, apparently. Steve Pilfold said for did Avril.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. Is that because...
Oh, because Skater Boy was spelt B-O-I, I think.
Oh, was it? Yeah, something like that. I got rhubarb and ginger gin for Valentine's Day.
Oh, that sounds very nice.
Very good. We may have to try that one.
There's a lot to try.
Yeah. So that's all good. Oh no, Richard is going to be on the gin, says Kevin Hall. Now, yesterday, Dumpman was in. And I was on San Miguel lager.
Yeah, that's a good summer.
I don't normally drink lager, but you know,
Were you on the floor?
I was pretty much on the floor by the end of it. I'm not used to drinking alcohol.
Okay.
So yeah, gin and tonic.
A double for you then.
I'll have a single, but you can have whatever you like. So we've got glasses already prepared by the lovely Georgie. Look at that.
Yeah,
to tell you work in a in a bar. So that's very good. So yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and try it?
Go and pour
let me get the ice in first.
Right. So these are your professional skills we're seeing here.
Although I couldn't remember. There's a certain fruit that should go with each gin and each tonic.
Oh, is there?
So this, I think, like if you have a Hendrick's gin, it's recommended with cucumber.
Cucumber.
So I'm sure this is probably the wrong one.
So we may have got lemon and elderflower. Maybe it's the wrong way round. But hey ho, a nice glass of Mother's Ruin, says Paul Hine. And Michael Glacier says, the yellow peril near the railway line. Yes, that's right, Morrison's. Tins of gin already mixed from Morrison's are nice.
Oh, yes.
I mean, that's... I don't know. I always think if it's been ready mixed, you can't put your own consistencies in. You might want to shove a little bit more than anybody else. But I said, cool, I can smell the gin. It's got a lovely smell. Unlike vodka, which is vile, I think.
Do you like gin?
I like gin, yeah.
Do you drink it?
No, I don't. I mean, I rarely drink anything. But it's not to say I'm teetotal. It's just I rarely can afford to drink. But I do, you know, I like... We once on the Vobes show, going back to the podcast, everybody hears me reminisce about the lovely old Vobes show. But I bought some books on cocktails. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yes, and you had a
little cocktail bar, and we were mixing up cocktails on the show, which were quite lethal, really.
There we go.
Oh, look at that, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not sure if you want more tonic.
Let's see how I get on. So here we go. Look, this is what it looks like. Doesn't that look very nice? We've got refreshing. Some ice. Yeah, it looks very refreshing.
I think you'll like it because it kind of reminds me of a grapefruit in the sense that it's quite bitter, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I think
because the tonic adds that sort of bitterness, doesn't it? I can drink tonic water on its own.
Okay.
Yeah, I quite like tonic water. Not Indian tonic water. Water. I don't know, something about Indian. There's one that Indian tonic.
I think that's the classic gin mix.
I think so, but it's that's kind of like but I do kind of like. I might have to have a little swig of the tonic water without the gin in it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, never mind all that nonsense. So we're going to say chin chin.
Chin chin.
Cheers. Chin. And I hope that you're drinking something with us, whether it's a cup of tea or a cup of gin and tea. So to say. So there you go. So I'm already giggling. Oh dear, this is going to end in giggles, says Nigel sadly. Yes, I'm sorry. I haven't even taken a sip.
I haven't had any yet.
No, I'm stone cold sober.
There we go.
Mother and daughter, you see, that's the trouble. I mean father and daughter. Anyway, down the hatchet.
Yes, Cheers.
Cheers.
Good luck. I need the good luck, I think.
Good luck. Oh, that is lovely. Isn't it nice?
It is really nice.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, it used to be the drink. When you watched the old television programmes in the 70s.
Oh, yes.
The old sitcoms or anything like that, it was the standard thing that people would come home and have a gin and tea. They'd have a gin and tonic. And I just seem to remember it thinking it's such an old-fashioned drink, the gin and tonic. Really? But I think it's been there all the time. But now I think
come back with a vengeance
it's come back,
now.
yeah, because it's got, you know, they kind of remarketed it, and
I always had an impression that gin and tonic was quite a feminine drink when I was a child.
Oh, right.
I think it would always be that you'd see like a guy order a Guinness and a woman
Having
with a G&T.
A G&T.
But no, it's very popular. It's really nice.
It is nice, and it is refreshing, and it's seen. I always thought of it as a sophisticated drink. You know, you don't get your yobs from the football crowds coming in. Oh, mate, I'll have a gin and tonic, mate, and lots of tonic. I mean, don't get much of that.
I'll have the elderflower tonic.
The elderflower, mate, yeah, lovely, and a nice fig. Put a fig in it, love. A nice fig. Yeah, the gin is working already. I think the aroma of the gin is doing the thing. It's got trendy, said Richard Suggett.
Yes.
So now Richard Suggett is he's a veg grower, but he's a good tester of things. So I imagine that he smokes his own cheese.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he gets that in a roll up, and he's got it there in the evening smoking it. No, not quite. But I imagine that Richard, that you've done a few tests with gin and various vegetables that you've grown. He's got the old. It's not so good with camembert. You've got a camembert in a roll up. It's all dribbling down here.
Down. And then the squeaky one. Does that make a noise?
Yeah, the squeaky cheese. What's the squeaky cheese called
halloumi.
Now? Halloumi. Yes, halloumi with the haliter. I can't get the halloumi to a lighter. Oh God. You can see why I had the lovely Georgie in the Vobes show back in the day. So let's just remind ourselves that anybody who Elaine Blazer, I'm sorry, I've just suddenly seen this. Hope Mark is okay camping in London. Lots of Union Jacks. Is Mark English? Still likes his glass of red white wine. Are you camping in London at the moment, Mark? My sister has joined. Don't let my sister see me drinking. I'm not drinking.
It's water.
It's just water. It's not gin and tonic. Nothing like that. Yeah, so go back to what I was going to say. Back in the old days, if anybody remembers the Vogue show, you're likely to remember this.
You're listening to Richard Vobes.
Yes, that was the lovely Georgie at 11 years old. Yes. Right from the very start, we got her, and every show started.
You're listening to Richard Vobes.
And it became iconic. It just became iconic. And it was great, and people used to love that. And then, of course, I would always try to get people to send an email, because like here, you can just do instant messages to us, which is great, and we're watching out for those. And any questions, by the way, that you have, do send them in. But when it was a podcast, we were forever trying to get people to communicate with us. So, of course, I got Georgie to record.
Send an email to richard@vobes.com.
And those dulcet tones went on for 10 years as we ran the show.
I had a brace at that time
you
as
had
well,
a brace?
so you can hear quite a little bit of a lisp.
Have another listen.
Send an email to richard@vobes.com.
But it was so charming. It's so charming. What did the cheese say when it looked in the mirror? Hello, me. Hello, me. Very good. Brilliant. Yes. How many of these do you need to drink before they stop being funny? Andy Joy has arrived. Hello, Andy. Scott Luce has joined, which is fantastic. And John Berger, all the old ones.
Oh,
so
yes.
John Berger, Scott Luce, and who was the other one that I just said? I'm forgetting. Well, Scott and John will remember.
You're listening to Richard Vobes.
And of course, then there's this one.
Hello, I'm Georgie, and I'm on the Richard Vobes radio show. So make sure you listen.
Make sure you listen.
You used to, I remember as well, whenever you'd play, I think it was that one, you would forget that I would finish it.
Oh,
saying,
yes.
Make sure you listen, and you'd talk over every time.
I know. I didn't know my own jingles, and I nearly did it then, didn't I? Nearly did it again. Make sure you listen. Yeah, we used to love doing all of those. Hey, matey, says John Berger. Look, the lovely Georgie, grown up. How old are you now? 25?
25.
25, ladies and gentlemen.
Feel grown up.
It is amazing. So we're going to ask Georgie a few questions, like what's she doing, and what's her future plans, and all of that, which is going to be doing. Georgie, where you going away to? Where are you going away? I don't know. I think you've been on the gin as well, Alan. There. Thought I'd better show my faces. Ed Warren. Hello, Ed.
Hello,
Lovely
Ed.
to see you. Which is great. Oh, here we go. Which cheese, says Steve Pilfold, I'm worried now. Which cheese, I've lost it, is made backwards? Edam is made backwards. Very clever, very clever. I thank you all. I thank you all. More jokes, watch this space. So, and just to finish off, for anybody who still remembers the Vobes show, this is a bit of a memory trip down memory lane. I apologise for the YouTube people and other people who have no idea what we're talking about, but it is my lovely Georgie. On the Vobes show, one of the things, because you were quite young and you weren't au fait with the things that we were chatting about in a lot of the because I was picking out headlines from the Daily Mail. Because
what do you think about that, Georgie? I don't know who that person is.
Don't know who that is. Contentious nonsense that the Daily Mail. It just made great fodder to sort of have a rant about, and then I would ask you. So, excuse me. Instead of that, you started to do something called Useless Facts.
I did, yes.
And this is repeating on me. It's nice. So because you were doing these Useless Facts, we sort of gave you your own little theme tune, which those that remember it goes like this. And then there would be a bit when you would say...
Useless Facts.
Because we haven't got any useless facts in today's show. Because it's not the Vobes show, it's the Bald Explorer Live, which is slightly different. Cheesy jokes coming thick and fast. I remember having to imitate her once when you were recording at my place and you didn't have the audio file.
Who was that?
John Berger.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, good old days. The good old days. It's fun. It was fun doing that. And of course, in 10 years' time, we'll be looking back at the Bald Explorer Live going, oh, wasn't that fun? When I'll be appearing in 3D space, no doubt, in front of people on their dinner plates. However,
virtual reality Vobes.
Yes, that would be slightly weird, my ugly mug looming in, because it'll be all lined and grey. Well, you won't see the grey, because I'll shave it away. You don't see the grey, because I shave it away. Thank you. Anyway, so that's in the past. What are you doing now, George?
What am I doing? A lot of things, actually. I'm supervising at the moment at a bar restaurant.
In Burgess Hill?
In Burgess Hill, very nice place.
Very plush place, isn't it? It's a converted barn.
Yeah.
Very nice.
200 years old.
Bit
Still
of history.
Got some beams. Yeah, it's lots in there. You haven't come seen it
I
yet.
know I haven't come. I must. Maybe I'll come along and have a meal.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be good fun.
That would be good, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, doing that. Doing some marketing for a restaurant.
Are you?
At Giuseppe's.
Oh, back at Giuseppe's.
Back at Giuseppe's, doing a bit of marketing.
Oh, fantastic! And Giuseppe's is an Italian restaurant in Warwick Street, just up the lanes in Warwick Street, and he's got an ice cream parlour now as well.
Yes, does very well.
And Georgie used to do some marketing a few years ago now, didn't you?
Yeah. I can't remember how long ago that was now. 4
And then
years?
I did a video for him as well, which went down very well. Thank you very much. So you're back doing some more marketing by popular demand, ladies and gentlemen. I think the phrase is popular demand, which is great.
Yeah, really good.
What other things have you been up to?
Sold the flat.
So Georgie, you bought a flat with your boyfriend.
Yes.
For a year.
Yes. So 4 years. I can't remember now.
Just over a year, something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't huge. Was it? Well, long enough.
2.5 years.
Oh, 2.5 years was it?
We've owned it, yeah.
Gosh, it didn't seem that long. But unfortunately, the relationship, like many relationships do, came to a bitter end.
Yeah, it did.
You murdered him.
You're not supposed to tell him that.
Sorry. Don't look under the floorboards. New tenants, vendors, don't look under the floorboards. That's all I can say. No,
ignore the smell.
And ignore the smell.
Febreze works fine.
Doesn't it just? Plenty of Febreze. Bucket loads of the stuff. No, but unfortunately, the real story there, ladies and gentlemen, is not murder. Of course, he's still alive under the floorboards. No, I'm sorry. But no, of course. But unfortunately, like these things, like your mum and dad came to an end, natural end, and...
Things change.
Things change, that's right.
People move on
and you've moved on.
Yeah.
And so you had to sell the flat, and that's been an experience, because I suppose buying a place when you're young is a huge undertaking, and then selling somewhere and trying to sort of divide it all up again, that must have been quite...
It's more long-winded than I thought it was. I think the whole solicitors and all the legal jargon that goes along with it. Just a bit tiring.
A bit tiring, yeah. Because you did have to wait for quite some time before the exchanges and stuff.
Yeah, so we sold it within a day of it being on the market.
Wow.
Or we had an offer accepted.
You had an offer accepted. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then had
So
to wait
quickly.
sort of 5 months or so for the rest of it to all go through.
Well, as you know, your sister, not your sister, my sister, Corinne.
Under the floorboards as well.
Corinne, no, she's out. I hope you're not under the floor. I'll be under the floorboards shortly. I'll be on the floorboards anyway. Corinne and I have got to, unfortunately, sell the house where you're staying temporarily at the moment fairly soon, which is my dad's old place, because he died sadly at the end of last year. And we've been sorting out the probate, and we've got to sell his property. So we'll be kicking you out.
Off you go.
Yeah, so you'll be homeless. There's plenty of space under the pier, I believe.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
It's nice at this time
I
of
just
year.
need a sleeping bag. Can I take one of those?
You can take a sleeping bag. We'll let you take the manky old one. Don't take a posh one. No, we do have to sell that property as well. So we've got to sort of go through that. Now, I've only ever bought one house.
Yes.
And I'm still in it. I just
didn't want to do it again.
No, I just thought... and you know, I'm not really keen on selling.
No.
I've been here for 27 years.
Wow, it's a long time.
And actually, I should say, Georgie was born here in the house, physically, in that room.
In the room
in the
behind
back,
this?
yeah, behind this wall is the site that Georgie popped into the world. Does that... Now, this is an interesting thing. Do you ever think that that's a thing? Does that, like, well, when I say that, you know, does that have kind of some meaning to you? Because I went back to where I was born a few months ago in Liss in Hampshire, and I found the cottage hospital where I was actually born.
Oh, wow.
And I thought I would have some earth-shattering experience or emotional connection with the place where I popped out. Maybe that was a bit graphic. Where I popped out into the world. Maybe... Anyway, I didn't. I did not know. I could have gone straight back in again. But because but then I never really knew it because I was a little baby, slapped about a bit, had my cord cut off, probably dropped a few times, no doubt, and away the emojis are going. And yeah, so maybe I did, but because you were born here and then grew up here, I wonder how much attached you are. Because if I said to you, I'm going to flog the house or sell the house, what would you think?
Oh, but yeah, no, I wouldn't be. It's your house to do what you want with, but yeah, no, I would too attached to it at the same time.
Yeah, no, it's interesting when people are born in a place and you think, oh, I wonder whether it's almost like they're holding onto the bricks. You can't get shot of it. This is where I popped into. I was spawn here.
Well, I almost lived here for about 18 years as well. So
that's right. That's right.
The whole of my childhood memories in.
And Billy, your brother, younger brother, who still lives here, he was born upstairs and he's in the room he was born in.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Think about which room
he's never left that room. It's the most peculiar
born in
thing.
there and just
20. How old is Billy? 23.
20. Yeah. Yes, I was going to say 21. Oh,
23.
Numbers.
He's still in the same room. I hadn't thought about that until just now. He's still in the same. You hasn't come out once, Billy. You've got to come out. Come out. Go to work. Do something. So it's very funny. Richard, you have been dropped a few times, says Maggie Walters. That explains a lot, yes. I'm sure it's true. 5 months. Corinne has given a big drop sign. Long. There was a number of complications, but don't worry, Corinne. We'll be cracking that whip to get the property sold when we need to do it. Steve Pilfold, unnecessary to say the stains are still on the carpet.
I missed you saying that. I didn't hear that bit.
Oh, did he not? No, I didn't say that. He's just mentioned it, that Billy was born here, still there, and the stains are still on the carpet. Kevin Hall says, Steve, don't talk about stained carpet. I once walked over a stain in a hall carpet only to find out it was the stain of a lady that had died in the hall. Oh, my giddy aunt, blimey. That is most peculiar. You've had to deal with all of that. I think we should stop And we should have a bit more of something to eat.
Oh.
When I say a bit more of something to eat,
Start
we should
eating.
have something to eat. James Tomlinson has arrived. Hello, James. And he says, hello, Richard. Thank you very much. Do say hello to the lovely Georgie.
Hello, James.
Who
Hello,
was
Georgie.
Also, hello, Georgie. So what sort of exciting thing have you picked out, Georgie,
Well,
to have?
I have picked out some chocolate.
Some chocolate.
You can't
You're
go wrong
To Richard Vobes.
Just thought I'd mention it.
with a little bit of chocolate.
A little bit of chocolate. What kind of chocolate have
we
you got
have-
then, George?
Lint chocolate.
Oh, lint.
And it's mint intense.
Oh, that is nice.
There
They
you
make
go.
they're quite of an expensive bunch of people, aren't they? The lint mob,
They are, yes.
not the lynch mob, not the lynch mob. They're a different bunch of people. Don't get on the wrong side of those. But the lint mob, they're all right.
Time so.
Julia, JCB key, please. I'm digging that hole. That hole is actually probably as deep as a well. But anyway, let's not worry about that. Love that chocky, says Kevin
Oh,
Hall.
brilliant.
So we better
That's a
open
good
it up.
recommendation then.
Yeah, I'm going to have
Okay.
another swig of this. Oh. I'm loving this gin and tonic. The taste, I think it's because of the juniper. I know
And the
that's elderflower,
elderflower.
but do they not? They make gin with juniper berries.
I have not.
I'm telling you. Your father's telling you. I think they make it. I'm pretty certain they do.
I wouldn't
Chucks
say
the
the
JCB key. Thank you, Julia.
Right, here you go.
Here we go. Here we go. A
Broken bit.
Oh, thanks. Bit of broken biscuits. A broken piece of lint chocolate. So, got a
Very
lovely
minty.
mint aroma, which is nice.
What you'd hope for.
It's-
If
I know.
it was orange, it wouldn't be good, would it?
Well, this is great, you see. These people out there, these lovely people, they tune in each day to watch me with a guest sit and scoff our faces. And we're sitting there going, what? We are patrons of this rubbish.
That's nice though.
These are nice, aren't they? Much nicer than...
Dark chocolate.
It's dark and yet it's quite smooth and almost milky. It's not... I mean, it's dark. Maybe rephrase that. It is dark chocolate, but it's smooth
Kind of milky.
and kind of milky. It's very nice. You get some dark chocolates which are so dry
Really bitter.
and bitter and full of no life, really, like the carcass of an antelope that's been left on the Sahara Desert for about 13 years and scraped up by some poor old wicker woman who's put it in her bag and carried it back over a long period of time, only to grate it into a small bucket.
That's what it says on the packaging anyway.
Is that what that's exactly what it says on the packaging. So it must be true that I was getting their same flavours. The
You
antelope.
can taste that there's a wicker woman, is
A
there?
wicker woman. That's right. Whatever a wicker woman is, it's like a wicker man, only it's a woman. Anyway, get a bar of Galaxy, the best chocolate in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
You do. That was Ed Warren. I like lint dark. I like lint dark chocolate. I must have some more of this with the sea salt.
Ooh.
There's a lot of people who are like salted caramel at the moment. I can't stand it. I think it's a weird flavour. So please stop eating it.
The Vobes has said. No more.
The Vobes have spoken. That's very nice. Well, we can carry on munching some of that throughout the show. Let's have a look at the time. It's past. We're halfway through. If you've got any questions for the lovely Georgie, then you are welcome to shove them this way. We can't guarantee we'll answer all the questions. As Dumpman said yesterday,
What's can I just? What is his real name?
Dumpman.
Dumpman.
Dumpman's real name, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't watch yesterday, Dumpman was in, and he is the chap who goes around making videos about disused railways up and down the country.
Oh, okay.
He's a very, very nice chap. He's a great fan of Motorhead. Heard of Motorhead?
A band?
It is a band.
Yes, I have, yes.
It's an elastic band. It's a gastric band. No. And he his real name is Chris Bedford. But, as he explained on the show, while everyone else was doing sports, he sneaked off to an area just outside the school by the dump, and he was having a fag. And all the kids who had the sports and stuff would come over to the dump to have a fag, but they always kept seeing him there. So he kept saying, "Oh, look, there's dump man." I don't know, something like that.
Was he dump boy and then progressed into dump man?
I don't know whether he was a dumpy boy, but he didn't say that. I want mint chocolate now. In the future, can you give us a heads up to what you're going to eat to enable us to buy some too and eat at the same time as you, says Maggie Walters. That's actually a very good idea. The thing was, Georgie arrived and I said, "Fancy going to Morrison's and grabbing something?"
I went, I need to get some butter anyway.
Yeah, so we got butter, which of course I promptly dropped on the floor. We didn't get a discount for that either.
Juggling it around.
With the one eye, my juggling's
Luckily,
not so hot.
Luckily, didn't do it with the gin.
No, didn't do it with the gin, thank you. Yes, so we didn't actually know until about 7:20 what we were going to have. So this show is not... I mean, you know, I like you to believe that it's meticulously planned and that somebody somewhere, Eric maybe... still got Eric.
Oh, really?
Yeah, still Eric was around in the Vobes show days. Yeah. I'd like you to think that it was meticulously planned, but of course it's not. Kevin Hall says, "Georgie, your pops said you're going to New Zealand. Are you taking a year out?" So yeah, now I know you've been talking about the desire to go to you like, and we're going to talk about some of the places you have gone in a sec. But yeah, you've spoken to me about New Zealand and how lovely it would be to do that.
Yes.
And I've sort of bigged you up about it, really. But of course, I know you've got your job and you've got to fit things around all sorts of things. So what is it about? Because you want to go travelling down the line.
Yes, definitely. I want to see the world. I think whilst
Who doesn't?
Whilst I don't have the ties here anymore, then why not go and do it whilst I can, whilst I'm young? So
yeah, so you've killed your boyfriend. You've drugged your dog. You've sold the flat, so you sort of at some point then you're free to go and whiz round the world, which would be great. So New Zealand is what? Why New Zealand?
I think because I would love to do it solo. Is that a little hint? More chocolate, please.
Well, whilst you were gabbling, I could gobble. Whilst you're gabbling, I can gobble.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the interesting thing, and from a father's point of view, this is the worrying thing, is that you say you want to go to the other side of the world solo.
On my own.
On your own.
Lonesome.
A 25-year-old glamorous young lady, you know, how would you feel if it was your daughter and she was as glamorous and as internationally famous as Georgie is in the Vobes show history?
This lady?
Yeah, so what is it about going on your own? And are you not scared about that? Does it daunt you?
No, not in the slightest. I think, well, okay, that's probably like maybe a little bit. It is a bit daunting, but I think then achieving that on your own is even more
the sense of achievement would be would be fulfilling, definitely.
And I think New Zealand, for somewhere to go on your own where they still speak English, and it's quite closely linked with England anyway, it was a bit more safe to go and do as a first place to go and travel on your own. I think
and beautiful scenery, of course.
Yes, that first and foremost.
That's
beautiful scenery.
Yeah, I mean,
mountains and lakes.
You like mountains and that because you've been up to Scotland.
Yes,
a couple of times.
Done Scotland a couple. I'd recommend Scotland to anyone that's never been.
Because you went to the Isle of
Skye. Did a tour around the Isle of Skye. Stayed in Edinburgh. It's gorgeous.
So you didn't do that on your own, though? You went with a mate?
I went with a friend. We did a tour. So we stayed in hostels in Edinburgh, and then we jumped on a bus with about 12 people, including us.
Yeah, you stayed in hostels on the Isle of Skye, and these hostels, I was quite horrified, were mixed.
Yes,
men and women.
One of the hostels we stayed in was a 30-person room. 30
people in it, like a barracks, like an army barracks.
Yeah.
And what was that like at night?
That was not good. That was in Edinburgh, and you
in Edinburgh.
In Edinburgh, yeah, a 30-person room, and you wouldn't.
And it was mixed again.
Yeah, mixed room.
Tiny beds.
Bunk beds.
Bunk beds.
Bunk beds. Yeah. And
I have to say,
the door constantly.
Oh, people coming, because
In
you
and
said
out.
to me there's people on the phone in the middle of the night.
There's no some people don't have the etiquette. There is kind of like a hostel etiquette of, you know, you be quiet at a certain time, or you have, most of them have their own lamps by your bed, so if you want to read or anything. But there was one room where someone was up on his laptop talking to his parents, I think, until 3 a.m.
Till 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And what, the other people in the room didn't tell him to shut the...
Chuck stuff at him.
Oi, will you be quiet? Some of us are trying to sleep. And I suppose was he foreign?
He was, yes.
So his folks may have been on the other side of the world with time difference. I suppose, you know, just thinking, giving them the benefit of the doubt. Why 3 a.m?
Yeah, that's very true. I didn't think of that at that
but
time.
even
in the
so,
morning.
you know, it would like tell them to stay up late or get up early so that they can fit in with him
or go outside the room.
Yes, that would have been even better, more simple. Dawn says, your mum says, I always worry, think it's a parent thing, doesn't matter how old they are, but so pleased for Georgie, which wish I had done it years ago. Yeah, you know.
That's it. I think that's a common denominator I hear as well, with a lot of people saying their one regret is not travelling more.
Yes, yeah.
Especially whilst they're young.
Maggie Walters says that Robbie, her husband, and her plan to visit Scotland when they have a camper van.
Yes.
What a brilliant idea.
Great idea. One advice from the tour guide that had us, he said that the summer period, so July, August, I think, is so busy that it can
go off peak.
Go off peak, yeah. Otherwise it can be a nightmare.
And that goes for the mountains as well. Don't fall off peak. Because that, you know, can hurt.
Go on peak.
Go on peak, but off peak. See what I mean? It's difficult. And don't take the camper van on the peak. Otherwise, you know, you get into that sort of Italian job scenario where it's... I've got another idea. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off. Anyway, what else worse have we got? The camper van done that. Cynthia Walder says, my daughter went travelling on her own, was meant to be for a year, but she fell in love with Australia. I thought you were going to say an Australian then. Fell in love with Australia and was gone for 7 years.
Wow.
And I suppose that's the sort of thing that, as a parent, that I would worry, is you go off to New Zealand and maybe, you know, you'll find a New Zealander, a Kiwi. Now, I can't do a Kiwi accent without going into a sort of very bad Australian accent.
Please try. I think we all want to hear that.
No, I don't think you do. Because you all just take the mickey out of me. I don't even know. I wouldn't be able to put any difference between a very bad Australian accent, which would be awful, and a New Zealand accent. And I need, you know, some accents you just need to hear to get yourself tuned into, or you have key phrases to say it. But I'm not going to make. I do make a fool of myself, but I probably need a bit more.
Is that the line?
There is a bit of a line.
I didn't think there was one.
You didn't think there was a line? Not after
Exactly.
giving birth. I'd never done that before. Well, I've done it twice.
What, giving birth?
Yes, did you not know? Oh, yes, I've given birth many a time. Me.
Twice, apparently.
Yes. Ed Warren says, my son and his girlfriend are off to the Dominion of Republic.
Oh, lovely.
Dominion Republic tomorrow for 2 weeks. Never stop worrying, no matter how old they are, which is true, because obviously if you lost anyone, your mum, your dad, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your nephew's friend, the bloke who lives across the road who's got a small dog that keeps trampling on your neighbour's garden. If you miss any of those, you're in.
Lost a train of thought.
Yeah,
How do I finish this?
You're in luck.
Call the police.
Georgie, give him a top up. Yes, a top
thanks.
up would be quite good.
Quick, finish it first.
Which is very nice. I worry if my kids went travelling alone, although I guess they are 5, 2 and 2, therefore it's justified. Excuse me, can I get the bus, please? I mean, every parent will have gone through... Where's Georgie? You know, where they've lost a child temporarily. Some other parents will do it even worse, where they forget a child. I think
How have you done that before?
Didn't the Prime Minister
David Cameron.
David Cameron forget his child somewhere?
I think he left them at the pub.
He left them at the pub. They left the pub, and there she was. She was in the saloon. Hello, chatting up some Tory somewhere, or maybe she was chatting up Jeremy Corbyn, for all we know, or the other way around, maybe. Yeah, so parents can do that. They can forget their children as they get a little bit, especially in a pub. Carol, love, let's go home. All right, then, darling. But yeah, if they were to go, I don't know where we're going with any of this travel. It was Steve Pilfold started that one off. So let's have a look at some of the pictures that you've got of Scotland.
Scotland, yes.
Scotland, the land of the Scots and the porridge oats. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
Oh no, sorry, this is Wales.
Oh yes, this is Wales. Have we got any pictures of Scotland?
I don't think we grabbed any pictures of Scotland.
No, we didn't. So we're not looking at pictures of Scotland, but you've been to other places that are a bit like Scotland, and it's not in England. Where would that be? Let me think. Was it Wales?
It was, yes.
Yeah,
I've been to Wales.
Wales, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a picture of somewhere in Wales. Where is this then, lovely Georgie?
So this is right near the peak of Snowdon.
Sorry, I was just having a quick snorty.
In Snowdonia's National Park.
Snowdonia's National Park, and that you took this picture. You climbed up again. You went here on your own.
I had a furry friend with me.
Oh yeah, we've got a picture of your furry friend. Not there. Wait a minute, it's coming.
1 second.
Here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Picture of the furry friend in the corner. That's not the bag. It's the thing carrying the bag. What's in the bag?
That was lunch. That was mine and his lunch.
Wow, it looks huge.
I can't remember what we had.
It looks massive compared to the size of the dog. Your lunch looks like, it's almost half a dog. Are you that hungry? I thought you'd climbed up a fair bit.
Exactly. It's a 6-hour hike, that is.
Oh, crikey.
In the snow as well.
In the snow. Yeah. What time of year did you go?
February. And a week before I went, so I'd already booked my Airbnb and planned it, and a week before I went, someone tragically died on Snowdon.
Oh gosh, yes, I think I remember hearing it, and I was getting a bit flustered.
Yeah, of me obviously going
on your own.
And when you arrive in the car park, and it showed there's a sign sort of saying what equipment you must have, and one was crampons and an ice axe.
Ice axe.
Or maybe
Sax to put your eyes in.
Axe.
Oh, axe.
Not sax.
Sorry, not
axe.
sax.
And I just had the crampons, so I was a little bit worried. And then obviously the dog attached to me, so if he falls, I fall, or if I fall, he falls. Yeah, it was a little bit nerve-wracking,
I should think. So, and there were points where, as you climbed up, you told us afterwards, that you're going up there, and even the dog refused to go.
Yeah, I had to kind of push him a little bit, and then after a while, if he's not going, then I probably shouldn't go either.
No, I think if the dog turns around, because if the dog goes, then you could have gone straight over, which would be a hell of a worry. My word, the Vobes is on his second gin of the night. Yeah, thanks, Maggie. Go for it. We all look after the bald one. Thanks, Andy Joy. That's very kind. Linda Kane says, I was left outside a shop when I was a few days old. Mum forgot she had me.
No.
so funny.
So the pram is a pram and all.
Pram and all. Steve Pilfold wants to know if you got snowed on. Oh, it's snowed on. Yeah. So thank you. Yes. Bit
Great
slow
jokes
that one.
tonight.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Here's the star comedian. I love hiking up the Welsh mountains, says Maggie Walters, especially the quieter areas of the Brecon Beacons and the Black Mountains.
I did the Brecon Beacons that same week that I went.
Oh, did you?
I wasn't planning on actually. I can't remember do you know what the tallest one in the Brecon Beacons is called?
What's the tallest of the mountains in the Brecon Beacons, Maggie?
What it's called?
She'll know because she lives close to that. I went up on the Black Mountains with Harriet some time ago.
Are they called the Black Mountains because they are black, or?
I forget now why they're called the Black Mountains. I think because of the forest. I don't know if it's because they've got lots of trees on them. They just look black from a distance. I can't remember.
Penny Fan.
Oh,
Thank
Penny
you, Paul.
Fan. Paul Watts come up. Excuse me, I'm burping and belching now. All that chocolate and that gin. I'll be all over the place. We used to run up Penny Fan, says
Wow.
Paul Hine. Blimey.
Oh, that was a hard walk. I kind of stumbled across it and thought I'll go a little bit up.
Well,
and then end up
Paul
going
Hine is very similar to what's the bloke who's married to Lois Lane? Superman. What's his other name?
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent. Paul Hine is a Clark Kent, really. You see, he comes over as a very shy and retiring sort of chap, but actually, if anybody's in trouble, suddenly bum ba bum ba 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 bum ba bum, he's flying up mountains with his camera and taking pictures and stuff. So you should never underestimate any of the lovely Vobe reporters and viewers, because. They're all heroes. They're all my heroes anyway. They all watch me. Chris Bedford is there. The dump man himself. Black Mountains. Are they to do with the coal industry? The Black. I know the Black Country. I don't know if that's the same thing. Well, it's different area. The Black Country. But that I thought the Black Country is because of the coal extraction and everybody had soot on their faces. But of course, it's so difficult. Yes, the lovely Georgie dump man, Chris. Paul Hine says he's ex-army. You see.
Ah, okay.
So isn't that it's now you say ex-army? Isn't that where they had some training only a few years ago, where they were training soldiers or would-be soldiers, and one or two of them flaked out and died as a result of going over the Brecon Beacons, marching them up. March! Come on, march! Get up them hills! I can't do it. Get up them hills! Very macho, if I remember rightly. Maybe
March.
March, and May, you two, get up them hills. Sorry, it's on the list. I don't know what's on the list. Lots of old narrow gauge. Oh yes, lots of old narrow gauge trains. I'm assuming. Alan Pidding. How much have I had? Alan Piddington says. Something. I've lost him.
Two SAS trainers died.
Oh yes, they were training the SAS.
Oh wow, yeah.
Special Army Surplus. What does it? SAS stand for? Special Armed Forces or something like that. Penny Fan is the tallest in the Brecon Beacons. Nearby is the Brecon Beacons Horseshoe, which takes you over 4 peaks.
Wow.
It's a fabulous hike.
That sounds like a long day.
Yeah, very long day.
Amazing,
yeah, no. I want to get up onto the Peak District and do some walks, and I would like to go back to the Brecon Beacons. I need to organise another mini adventure, ladies and gentlemen. So it would be great to go with you on a mini adventure.
Well, we did Cadair Idris.
We did Cadair Idris, yeah. So yeah, that's a video that you should check out if you've not seen it in the Vobes selection. Georgie and I went up the top of Cadair Idris, which is the second tallest mountain in Wales.
I believe so. Is it? Yes.
Yeah, Cadair Idris. We had a good old. I struggled up there a bit, but you were all right. Vroom. Hey George.
I think you were happy just to go down again.
Getting down was
that was the harder part.
That was
wasn't it?
much harder, wasn't it?
More difficult.
Yeah, because
navigate.
Getting up was quite a funny route, wasn't it? We sort of come up some steps and then round past a pond or a lake. We kept calling it a pond. And then we sort of were following the crest of the crater all the way around until we got to the. I don't know what you probably can't see up there, but it was up there, and we got to the peak, and that was fine. And of course, when we got up the peak, it was a bit. We'd seen very few people, and then when we got up the peak, there was like hundreds.
Yeah,
of
there's
them.
loads of people.
It's like, where did you all come from?
We didn't pass you.
Yeah, there's no elevators or funicular or anything, but they'd obviously come on a different route. So we came down a different route, but the route we came down was almost vertical, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have liked to have climbed up that because it was just almost one face, almost all the way.
Well, if we do the Peak District, we can do Scafell Pike.
Scafell Pike.
So then I think that's the third highest mountain in the UK.
Well, we should be able to do that easy, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, Scafell Pike. They've got funny old names, haven't they?
Yeah.
Instead of, Frank's Hill or...
Frank's Hill.
Yeah, Jim's Burrow.
Jack and Jill's.
Yeah, Scafell Pike. It's a funny Funny old name. But yeah, no, so at some point we need to get our diaries together and maybe just, you know, see if people will, like we did with Glastonbury, just chuck us a little bit of help to pay for the accommodation and go for a couple of nights. Oh.
Thanks for the help.
That's a cabbage white. Off you go. Anyway, how are we doing for time? Oh, we've only got 10 minutes left.
Oh,
I think we'd better go into the gallery.
Oh, yes.
And see what you lot have been posting. Try and keep the show onto some sort of notification. So yeah, back into the gallery and see what you've been up to. Now I need to find the actual pictures. Here we go. So first of all, ladies and gentlemen, we start with Tom Crawford, who has been posting pictures of his bicycle. Lovely bicycle it is, but it does appear to be in every photograph that he ever takes, somewhere discreetly. It's a bit like that bloke who used to paint and put mice in his pictures. You'll always see a bicycle in Tom Crawford's pictures. But he is here at Sandy, which is not a song from Greece, but actually a place in Bedfordshire. And funny you should say that, actually, Georgie. Not that you did, but if you had. It's funny you should say that, because coming up, I think next week, will be some videos from Sandy in Bedfordshire. Not a person Sandy, the place Sandy, with Simon Brown and Sharon Brown and myself.
Oh, brilliant. We
go to the RSPB, and there's not a bike in sight. But there might be a kite, or a kestrel, or a tit. Well, there's definitely a tit in it, because I'm presenting it, of course. You silly moo. Anyway, so yes.
It's a nice picture. I really like that
That's
picture.
A lovely picture.
Yeah.
Tom does put up some very nice pictures, so he'll be chuffed that you said that, because you're into photography as well. So Sarah Poole has been to Warnham that the old Vobes is coming. This is the Green Man, although this is more like the Brown Man at the moment. But May is very much associated with the Green Man of folklore, pagan sort of chap, with oak leaves coming out of his mouth, and it looks like a. Did you say a crab?
Crab on his face. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can get ointment to get rid of the crabs these days. So he needs to nip down to his doctor's. But the funny thing again there, George, is that the lovely Julia and I were in Warnham Nature Reserve, not looking for crabs because I'd got rid of them by then, but we had gone to look at birds, look for that big tit I was talking about. But we were there yesterday, and she was there at the weekend, so our paths nearly crossed, but not quite. Anyway, so
such a coincidence.
It's such a coincidence. What a coincidence, as they say, ladies and gentlemen. I've lost the plot now. Hang on, another picture coming up. How much was? I must get some more.
Take this gin away, I think.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
It's nice, isn't it? It's going down very well.
Slipping down easily. So here is a picture of Richard Suggett at lunch. Now you can't see him. He's hiding behind the bush. He's in one of those, but he's probably actually propagating some of those ferns, no doubt. Richard Suggett was having lunch in the New Forest. I think today or yesterday, I can't remember now, but he managed to get his camera out and take some picture. And those lovely ponies that you see in the New Forest were nowhere to be seen when he was there, which is a shame, really. So he'll have to go back there. Oh, wait a minute, there are lumps and bumps in the far distance. I wonder if they are ponies. Maybe not. Linda Kane has been out on the I was trying to get a joke with chicane then, but I couldn't get one. Linda Kane has been out with her camera, and she's gone, yoo-hoo! And she has been at St Margaret's in Angmering, looking at this interesting yew tree. So one for Julia to go and hug in Angmering, but apparently it's got a bit of a sad story associated with it, something to do with them chopping bits of it down and it not being very happy. So that will upset Julia, I'm afraid. But we'll have to go and give it some love and attention, because Angmering's not too far. And I haven't been to Angmering, and it's only up the road, so I need to do a video up there. Meanwhile, Kevin Hall, impressed by our visit to Wells in today's walking video, he's posted up some pictures of when he went to Wells in 2016. And it does look like a miserable day when you went there. It's a bit dull, but I'm not holding that against you or anything. But lovely church, lovely place, Wells. We didn't have time. We parked the car when we went there, whizzed round, got back to the car before we had a ticket because we only had a 20-minute spot. But I would like to go back to Wells again for sure. Now, Elizabeth Brazier has been in Kent in a lovely place called Lydd. Down close to on the Romney Marshes, and she found in a graveyard this interesting gravestone, and it has something to do with, if I remember rightly, the Russian royal, not the royal family, but something to do with the emperor's family, or something. I can't remember now. It was a while ago. Anyway, it was a while. It was
when you were sober.
It was 2 gins away. Larissa Fedorovina, however that is, and I think there's a bit of a tragic tale. Well, obviously it's a tragic tale because she died at 28 years. So the king's, there we go, the king's own, can't read that, Russian something or other. Anyway, the post is in the group. The whole point of me putting these pictures up is to get you to go into the group and actually make more sense of it than I am, which would make sense. Now, Downsman Michael. He has waited something like 28 years, I can't remember exactly, a long time, for this epiphylium, I think is how you pronounce it, epiphylium hybrid to flower. And it will take another 28 years. The chap is about 87 years of age now, so he may not be around when it flowers again. But it's what a lovely pink epiphylium it is.
It's a bit like an aloe vera plant or some.
Oh yeah, bit like aloe vera. You can get bottles of aloe vera, Michael. Not that they flower, but just letting you know you can get them. And finally, in the Balcombe Viaduct in the Ouse Valley, we have Colin Brown, who's been up a very high ladder to get up there, and he's taken a picture of the Ouse Valley Viaduct, or the Balcombe Viaduct, with a train going across it, the 2:15 from Waterloo, coming south towards London, to Brighton. And I have made a video, if you want to check out the Bald Explorer and the Ouse Valley Viaduct, I've made a video of that, made that a few years ago now, but it's a great video, if I do say so myself. Lovely camera work there, you'll notice. And in the picture there, which is a fantastic shot. So, there we go. Thank you very much for putting those into the group. And if you are watching this and you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the group, the Facebook Bald Explorer group, go to the Facebook Bald Explorer page. You'll see join the group, and somebody will let you in. There's usually a little person there going, yes, who's there? And you just say who you are, and they'll go, oh, come into the group. And in you go. It's ever so friendly. That was probably.
And then he locks the door afterwards.
Yes, that was probably Julia,
out.
actually, to be honest with you. Come in, come. I'm sorry, Julia, I didn't mean that. Close the door, and then you can't get out. That's why we still have all these loyal. That's why they come and watch the show night after night after night, because I don't let them go. They're going, really, what they're doing is, did you manage to get the key? Every time somebody new comes in, oh, you haven't got the key, that's no good. We'll wait for the next one. And you're all sort of, but you're all rubbing shoulders with each other and you're getting to know each other, so it's lovely. And at the end of this show, of course, I'll be passing round the gin, which will be very nice. Yes, by Sandy Shaw. Oh, hello. Angering on a String. Was that not an old 60s song, says Tom Crawford. I'll post another drone shot tomorrow. Oh, Colin, you're there. Marvellous. Do post another drone shot. That was very nice. George should have had her show slot. Or Georgie should have had her own show or slot. Have you been drinking? Alan Piddington is asking to be let out. Well, you haven't been good enough yet. You'll have to wait. We must be at 9 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen, come to the end of the show. There was other things to talk about, such as owning the dog, that you've got your lovely dog, being an auntie, because you're now an auntie. I'm a granddad. Oh, God.
You're a what?
A granddad. I'm a little granddad. Every time I go and see... Now, it's funny, actually, my grandson, it's funny how the brain suddenly works, is called George. And you're... Georgie. And sometimes I say, hello, George. But now, of course, I've got to stick to Georgie. But you
it's-
would never...
I don't familiarise so much with Georgie. Everyone at work calls me George.
Do they?
Yeah, I get called George a lot. So it's strange being in a room with a George.
Yeah.
It gets confusing.
And you're not Georgina, are you?
No.
No.
No. Not Georgina.
Well, Georgie, you'll have to come back.
Yes, I will.
Would you like to come back?
I would, yes.
That would be...
You'll let me out?
Yeah, I will let you out so you can...
You're listening to Richard Vobes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so that you can come back. Otherwise, you won't come back, apparently. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's say cheers to our
Cheers.
wonderful audience. And thank you very much to Georgie for bringing in the gin and the tonic. I've thoroughly enjoyed that.
Oh.
I shall sleep well. I think I was asked earlier today if I slept well last night.
Why? Oh, because of the San Miguel.
And yeah, I think the San Miguel had knocked me right out, which is why... Because sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night in a hot sweat, thinking, oh my God, got to do another show, got a walking video to make. Oh, what are we going to do? It's all a bit of a panic. Will Eric write the script for the show and all of this sort of nonsense? And so I think tonight I'll just sail through again.
Have a lie-in, probably.
I probably will. But anyway, thank you so much,
all
George.
right.
It's lovely to see you. I haven't
I've
actually
enjoyed it.
seen you for a while.
No, you haven't. It's been a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, so it's nice. So the show has brought us back together again. Thanks, George and Richard, says Judith Oakley. Kevin Hall is saying good night. Linda Kane is going knock knock. Don't tell me that's a bad joke coming up. But is he so past yet? I have just been away for. Yeah, you've been away for watching some programme. The lovely Julia says yes, Georgie. We'd love to see you on the show regularly.
Oh, thank you very much.
And I second that.
Brilliant. Oh, no, I'd love to.
Yeah, fantastic. So, we're going to end the show. Do you know my little sort of ending of the show thing?
I should do, shouldn't I? But I'm afraid
You don't?
I don't.
Okay, so I'll have to do it.
Bad daughter.
I tried to get Julia to say this and she forgets every time. I think she's got it now. So, Julia, can you say it for me? The key line. We have to wait now 20 seconds for it to come up on the thing. She'll be typing it out. So see if she knows. I've had too much to drink, ladies and gentlemen. I mustn't do the show. We're just waiting for the cue to go. Hopefully, the lovely Julia is typing it out. She's going, what? Oh, crikey! What? She's going, what is that cue? Any second now, it will come, and we can get out of here. Maybe. Sorry to keep you waiting.
I think she might put the kettle on.
I think she's gone. Are you there, Julia? Is it gonna ping up? Elizabeth, somebody will know what to write. We can't go till it's been said, you see. And I'm now too sozzled to get it.
I wish I did
So,
my research.
Alan's come to the rescue. So, when you hear this music... Yes, Julia had gone. Well and truly gone. Oh, she's get her on the phone. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear that music, it means it's time for me to put everything away. Maybe to finish off the bottle of the gin or some such like that.
The chocolate. The bottle of the gin. There's a lot in there.
There is a bit. You can take that home. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you again tomorrow night. By the way, tomorrow night, the lovely Julia will be in. So, yes, I've had a guest Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. Then I'll be back on my own on Friday.
Hey.
A good week. So, yeah, maybe Julia's hitching to get here by tomorrow night. So, until then, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to the lovely Georgie.
Thank you.
We've had a laugh, and we will see you the next time.
Yes.
Take care, one and all.
All in one.
All in one.
One and all.
Your poor old dad's too sozzled. This is the moment we wave goodbye. Goodbye!
Goodbye.
Goodbye!